Hello, sixth graders. I just realized I misspelled equivalence. So we're going to respell that. Equivalence. Okay, so today we are looking for ratio tables and using ratio tables to find equivalence, and that is continued. So yesterday we were looking at how do we use a ratio table to find equivalent ratios. And all of our tables were going on the horizontal. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at when they're set up vertically. Because sometimes they'll give you tables that are set vertically. So we're going to build upon our lesson from yesterday and look at how to do it when they are set up horizontal or vertically. So instead of horizontal comparisons, we're going to look at vertical comparisons. So let's say that, again, I have a ratio table set up, and let's say that I am comparing flowers to petals. Let's say I have flowers compared to petals. And my initial ratio that I have is 1 to 5. So my initial ratio is from 1 to 5. I can use this same setup here to find equivalent ratios in a ratio table by seeing what they give me in the next thing. So let's say that in my next ratio, I have flowers to petals, and it is for 2 flowers, but we don't know what the 5 is right here. Okay, so we can use an equivalent ratio table to find the comparison of flowers and petals. And all we do is we set up a ratio table just like we did before. And it looks like a T-chart. So flowers comes first, so I put flowers first. Petals comes second, so I put petals second. My initial ratio was 1 to 5. I'm looking for 2 to something. We don't know what the something is. So I put the 2 here because it tells us it's flowers. And now I can use this idea of finding equivalence by looking back in one of our lessons where we did equivalent ratios going from one side to the other side. So, or we could turn them into fractions. It's your choice. So everything is your choice when it comes to finding equivalence. Just need to make sure that you are comparing the same things. So on this one, we're going to do the downward arrows. Okay, so how do I get from 1 to 2? Well, I multiplied by 2. So over here, to get from 5 to this box, I also need to multiply by 2. Well, 5 times 2 is 10. So my answer that goes in this box is 10. Let's say that they give me 4 flowers. Again, I can come up here to the 1, and I can say, well, how do I get from 1 to 4? Well, 1 times 4 gives me the 4. On this side, then, I would use 5 times 4 to get 20. So here I've used this idea of moving from the top to the third box down. From 5 times 10 or 4 to the third box down. I'm getting tongue-tied. Okay, let's say though that they tell you you have 15 petals. But we don't know how many flowers. Well, we can find out how many flowers you have by doing the exact same thing, but starting on this side. How do I get from 5 to 15? Well, to get from 5 to 15, I multiply by 3. So on this side, I have to go from 1 times 3, because this is the times 3 box. So here, 1 times 3 is 3. So now when I have my ratio, when I write my ratios, I would then just take them straight out of this box right here. So this ratio is 1 to 5, 2 to 10, 4 to 20, and 3 to 15. All of these ratios are equivalent because we use the same multiplier to get from one to the next. So these are all equivalent. So this is the writing ratios. So writing the ratios from the table, instead of going from the top to the bottom, you would just go from side to side. Now, this is if we were going to graph these, because eventually you can graph these things. This would be like your X column, and this would be the Y column. But we're not going to talk about that right now because I don't want to confuse you. Okay, so let's talk about, let's do another example. Let's look at what happens when we have I want to do the one with the markers. So let's do the one with the markers. But where are the markers? So markers to crayons. So all of our, because we're setting it up like this, we're going to just go ahead and let's just draw a line straight down and let's start comparing just like this. Okay, this box is crazy and I apologize for it looking crazy. Okay, so markers. Let's say that I have 3 markers to 4 crayons. That's my first one. Okay, and the next one I have 9 markers. And then in the last box I have 48 crayons. So I want to compare markers to crayons. So when I have 3 markers, I have 4 crayons. So let's see how many crayons we have when we have 9 markers. So how do I get from 3 to 9? To get from box 1 to box 2, I had to multiply by 3. So on this side, I'm also going to multiply by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, now let's look at this box. How do I get from 4 all the way to 48? What do I have to multiply by? Well, I have a hard time doing that one in my head, so instead I'm going to say 48 divided by 4. 4 is 1, that's 4, 0, 8, 2, so that one is 12. So here I had to multiply by 12. So on this side, I'm also going to multiply by 12. So 12 times 3 gives us 36. So when I have 36 markers, I have 48 crayons. All right, let's write these ratios out. So my ratio of markers to crayons is 3 to 4, 9 to 12, and 36 to 48. All of these are equivalent. They're all equal to each other. All right, 6th graders, it is your turn to do a try it. So let's go ahead and do a try it. Okay, in your try it, you are comparing fruits to vegetables. Okay, so you're going to be comparing fruits to vegetables. So let's go ahead and set it up like this. Fruit and vegetables. Fruits and veggies. All right, so fruits and veggies are being compared. And our initial ratio that we start with is 2 to 6. So when I have 2 fruits, I have 6 veggies. Okay, so now our job then is to make sure that you draw much better lines than Missy Wonder, because my lines today have been horrible and I am so sorry. Okay, so when I have 12 vegetables and 6 fruits, I want to know what makes these equivalent. So right now, go ahead and pause the video so you don't hear me. You're going to first find what makes the equivalent box in the ratio table, and then over to the side, you're going to write ratios. All right, 6th graders, go ahead and hit pause right now so you don't hear me, and then come back when you are ready. All right, 6 times 2 gets me to 12, so I need to do 2 times 2 to make it equivalent, and that gives me 4. On this side, I have the 6 filled in, so I'm going to go from 2 to 6, and that's times 3. So over here, I need to multiply times 3. So 6 times 3 gives me 18. My equivalent ratios that I now get from this ratio table are 2 to 6, 4 to 12, and 6 to 18. All right, 6th graders, go ahead and answer your essential question again. How do you use a ratio table to find equivalence? Go ahead and put your score out into the box. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more confident than you were yesterday. And as always, 6th graders, thank you for your hard work, and make it a great day the Cougar way. Oh, don't forget to find your practice on big ideas. Okay, make it a great day the Cougar way.